So I'm going to start with Pedro. So Pedro, you had a bit of contrast going. It was a bit too much. Do you see the contrasting? I just wanted to bring down the tone so that we don't have too much black. We have the darks in the right spot, but not too much. Good job on the eyebrows. The eyebrows seem to lead down into the nose. You see those strokes that you have? They shouldn't lead that low. So right now you have them leading down into this. You shouldn't have them leading in that low. What? Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring in some light colors and bring them in to separate the eyebrow from the shade, so you seem to be sharing the same shade. I'm also going to bring in a gentler shade and put it in between, so it becomes a light, dark, light effect in between here to show that the nose has a side. Beautiful job on the eyes. Lashes still seem to be a bit angular. You might want to make them look a little more free. Good job on the eyebrows though. Generally much better than before. They still have an angle to them, but it'd be nice if you could soften that. I told you to preserve this light here. This light means that there's fat on the top of her eye, which is it's a really nice effect to have. It's very unique to sustain in your work. Okay, bottom lid is going to be shaded as well, so that we can show that there's a bottom lid. Some light is going to be brought in on the inner corner of the bottom lid to show that it's oily, because oily on the hair, on the eye, lids are very oily. They're very wet all the time, so they reflect some lights. You know what really gets under my skin is when that's happened a lot, and it's not today, but before, is when I'm giving some critiques, or I'm giving in some suggestions, and at the spot people are giving me excuses for why they did it, or trying to decredit what I'm saying. Most of these are just suggestions, and you guys could live without my critiques. You guys can improve on your own. But it's just a small suggestion most of the time, and it's not me enforcing my perspective on your work. It's more like a constructive criticism where we're working together. It's okay, Nazir. But I've noticed some people take serious animosity towards the things that I say in class, and I'm not sure if I say them rudely. Like I said before, if I do say them rudely, let me know. Some people need to take it easy. Chill pill, man. Okay. I'm going to darken only the areas I really want to darken. So I hope you know what I mean by that, Pedro. I've repeated it so many times that it's sort of become white noise for you guys. I really hope that you guys understand me when I say don't use black for everything. Don't share the same level of black. The darkest spot, which are the dark spots that I told you about, those should be the darkest. No other than that. What is this? What's wrong with the burn tool? Oh, you're on what's it called? Grayscale. Need RBG. RBG? Wow, RGB. And I'm going to darken this area here. Inner part of the eyebrow. But it's not you, Pedro. It's someone else who did that, so don't think it's you. So only the areas that really need that. With your monitor, I think your monitor is a bit too dark. Because you do give me very good values, but they're always very contrasted. I'm wondering if it could be your monitor. Do you see these sharp edges on her lips? They're a bit too sharp. And you need to push in some more light on the inner corner of the lips. You have a nice little setup here, but it's very, very pretty. There's this really nice thing that Niall did with his lips that he painted, is that he brought in a sliver of light underneath the lips, and this would match the structure of these lips very well. Kind of look like Jessica Alba. Not her. What's that girl's name that I really like? It's not Jessica Alba. It's the other one. All your drawings look like her. She's really, really pretty. Her name is Jessica too, I think. Yeah, Jessica something. Not Jessica Alba. Ugh. Jessica Biel. Yeah, yes. Jessica Biel. Okay, I'm going to put lights only where they belong as well. So before everything was too dark and too light. Good job on the freckles though. I really like that. You might want to have some on the nose if you didn't, if I painted over it. 1 second, gonna sneeze. Um, okay, so as I was saying, I don't know what I was saying. Okay, what I'm gonna do is, you know the Joker, you know how he has these lines here? Well, these lines exist in real life, but they're not really like rips in the skin. So how I remember them is just basically remembering the Joker, that there's these dips in the cheekbones that move in this way. And women with really large cheekbones sort of have it. It's a line that moves from the lip corner into the cheekbone to form the structure of the face. And what you need to do is sort of start putting that in there. Also, the face is a bit too wide considering her features. Her features seem to be coming from a very slim sort of inspiration. So what I'm going to do is just slim up her face a little bit. Push in some of those dimensions from the side. Okay, and then separate, increase the density, and then separate the eyes a little bit. They're a bit too close. Can you please put that on mute? So before, after. Before it was a bit too wide and the eyes were a bit too close together. And after, narrowed down the face, separated the eyes a little bit to balance out the dimensions. Thank you, babe. And what I'm going to do, what you did, Pedro, is you darkened the entire lip area. The only area you can darken are the two corners and where the two lips meet. Right there. Do you see? I'm going to make it a bit darker so you can see it. And I'm not sure if your monitor lets you see that. But if you darken only these inner corners, you're going to make it seem like the lips are folding over each other, causing this darkness. Okay? Also, this lip will reflect on this lip. So the bottom lip will reflect on the top lip, and it'll reveal the sides that are shiny. So you might want to put in a little bit of extra lighting on the bottom corner. Now that the eyes are separated from each other a little bit more, we have more space to work with. And we have a little bit more. Before they were a little bit too close, so we had to sort of crunch things up. Okay. Also, the nostril seems to be faded off into the back of the skin. What you have to do is give it a bit of a shadow, not an outline, but a shadow, to show that the nostril is a separate part. Maybe narrow down the nose a bit. You do make them nice and flared, which is very, very unique. But to make them a bit more slender will work for you. Just going to make the eyes the same size. Okay. And remember that sort of Joker shadow I told you about? I'm going to carry some of that shadow underneath for the chin. Everything needs an outline of shadow to show that it's grooving. And so this shadow here I showed you just now. It's not going to be that dark though. But around the chin, I just placed the shadow. Did you see that, Pedro? Did you catch that detail? Okay, nice to have you here, Niall. And then I'm going to put a little bit of shadow just on the outside area of the cheekbone to show that the cheekbone is casting a shadow. It's being shadowed by the main light source. To show a little bit more. I'm also going to carry the shadow of her eye out into her temple here. But the light is going to, remember the third and fourth quarters and the first and second quarters of the face. And then we're going to have the shadow of her forehead. Not so much, just a touch. Okay, and this gives us space for the secondary lighting. You did have secondary lighting, but it was more like an outline than lighting. I just want to show you that you need to really show that this is a circle, and a circle with a bunch of details on it. But it's still a circle. It's still going to capture light. It's still going to form contours and shadows. Okay, this fatty area that I told you about, it's best to keep the eyelid hooded so that this fatty area sort of remains nice and realistic and convincing. It's like a very realistic detail. And then I'm going to bring in that light. Over here. Look, 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 she's trying to get underneath, look. Futile. Okay, and then lastly, I'm just going to balance the shadows under the lip, and there you go. And then you can place in those details that you put on the skin. So we'll do a before. Before, you had the contrast too high. You had darks all over the place. Though, however, I love her eyes because they look like the girl from Superman. You know, that crazy girl? Fucking awesome movie. But it's a bit too much contrast going on. Oh, see? It's okay, we took out the bed frame. Oh, see, there's nothing. There's nothing there. What? What? We need to get her some snacks. Okay, so that's before, sorry. And then, me too, I want to watch it again. I'm waiting for a good cam to come out. No, Pedro, you don't need 14 days more. You just need to remember to keep the contrast down, Pedro. I want to grab you by your neck and just strangle you while I say it. Keep the contrast down. Welcome, Vancy. Keep the contrast down. Keep the blacks only where they belong. Like, don't place them everywhere in the image to help you finish the image. Don't overuse black so that you can make up for what you don't know how to draw. Don't shadow things you don't know how to draw. Don't do that. I know you can draw this kind of stuff, so don't use the black too much. So what I did was I did a general wash, washed it out, started bringing in, fixing the eyebrows a little bit because they led into the nose, brought in some contours, grays. Then I brought in the blacks only in the eye area where blacks really exist on a face, and some other makeup cosmetic areas that need some black, like the eyeliner. The lips gave them a bit more contour. Gave the chin more contour, brought in some dark around the lip corners, just a shadow, gave some contouring around the face, slimmed out the face before the dimensions were a bit too wide set. So you had horizontal symmetry, and you had vertical symmetry, but you had a bit of trouble with the horizontal framing. Shrunk the nose. More contouring near the eyes. And done. Before. After. Now for Niall. Niall. This is your day one, so I'm really gonna give you an ass whooping. I'm not proud of some areas here. I really want you to rethink some of these dimensions that you've chosen. Okay? No, I'm saying you should be scared. I'm joking. You need a paper and pencil beside you, Niall. And you need to keep these posted right on your monitor because these are tendencies that you have to shake. You have to know your mistakes before you fix them. You have to know your medical issue before you buy medicine for it and go and get a diagnostic. You need to know the mistake before you know how to fix it. Identify the problem and then act accordingly. So what you need to do at this moment, Niall, to avoid these mistakes, to avoid being mocked on the professional state, to avoid everything, is you have to kick your own butt first before anyone kicks it for you. So I'm going to need you to write these down on a paper and keep them on your forehead or somewhere where you can see them on your forehead. That would defeat the purpose. Why I'm saying this is because this here. Why I'm saying this is because I want you to understand that you have more to, not really more to learn, but you have a degree. You're in a new land and you haven't yet mapped it out. So what you're going to do now is map out. There's enough metaphors. I'm just going to get down to it. So what I want you to do is always remember that you make the heads too small. Make the heads larger, please. Okay? It's not about making the face larger and keeping the head the same size. No, the dimensions of the head, the whole thing, the whole dimension, the whole size, face, nose, eyes, ears, and all, make it larger. You make it way too small. Okay? That's number one. So I'm going to fix that for you. The lucky thing is that I don't just yell at you, like I don't just say them. I'm so happy there's liquefied because imagine if I just said them to you without showing you. That would suck ass. I don't know how you would suck ass, but that's how the metaphor goes, or the saying. Okay, Niall, that's the first thing. Second thing, you did the shoulder thing I told you not to do yesterday. That I told you should have watched the video that I did with Nazir yesterday. The video with Nazir's critique that I posted on YouTube, I was talking about how people tend to make the shoulders too tensed, and that's because when they draw the shoulders, when they draw the first symmetry line and they have that horizontal line for the shoulders, they make it straight instead of curved, a C curve downward. The C curve helps you avoid this kind of shoulder line. Okay? So right now, her neck is a bit too a bit too intense. I'm going to zoom up just a touch, and I just want to align her shoulders properly with her neckline. Next thing is that after I fixed all these other mistakes have emerged, and I don't want you to suffer from this kind of problem. Keep everything measured. The breasts shouldn't go so far that the joints of the shoulders are non-existent. So what I need you to do is thin out this breast area. Okay, that's one. Zoom back in. So right now, so far you learned, keep head size large enough, enlarge it, and keep shoulders at a curve downward, a downward curve. Oh, see, there's nothing there. Oh, see, she's going through a jungle when she walks on her bed. Like dun 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 dun. Okay. So curves are good, but you have to know where to place these curves. Good job on the stomach though. Really good job on the stomach. The contouring of the stomach, the inside area here. Good job on that. Keep that up. I like the line that you used. I like how you preserved the line and didn't paint it away. Other than that, I'm going to erase everything else, because the way you painted the legs and the way you painted the arms is completely wrong. Completely wrong on many levels. One is that you use the sausage theory for how to paint arms and legs. It's not the sausage theory. It's the rectangle theory. It's the line first and then everything else comes after theory. It's not the sausage theory. Okay? Second thing is you use the anime, knees together, legs, feet apart to help you deal with the anatomy. That's not a good idea. Don't depend on conventional ways of drawing a female body in cartooning to help guide you through a female body in realism. You're just going to get a weird, awkward looking outcome. And at this point, if you ask anyone's perspective, the feet, they will tell you the legs look a bit off. So let me guide you in the right direction now instead of going on and on. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Could you see the difference though from the before and after, Niall? Could you tell? Before, do you see how small the head was, how large the breasts were, how tense the shoulders were? And I have to push the shoulders a bit down even more after I remove the arms. Do you see how the stomach was a bit way, like she was wearing a corset, but an invisible corset? Okay? Keep the body slender, athletic, generally pleasing. If you're going to be getting paid for this, people want the general look. Okay, I'm going to take out the arms. And I'm going to take out the legs. I'm sorry, ma'am. Your legs gotta go. But no, I need to dance. Sorry, ma'am, you just can't dance today. Or any other day. Okay. Now that we got the torso set, we have to measure the torso. Does it make sense to the rest of the body? So, that sounded really evil. So, the rest of the body is a bit shortened. Because now that we removed the arms and legs, we're not so cramped up anymore. And it's obvious that you didn't paint the torso first. Draw the torso first. What comes first when you guys are developing in your mom's stomachs? What comes first? The arms don't come first. The legs, I don't know what comes first, but I know sure as heck it's not the toes, and it's not the fingers, and it's not the breasts. I'm sure it's the spine. The spine is essentially the torso, head, spine area. Those are the first things to develop. I'm sure. If not, then fuck the uterus. Let's think theoretically. That way, if we focus on that artistically, we have a good hold. Trust me when I tell you, follow the way things happen in biology. Okay? So now that we have a good distribution of the head, so we can fit like 3 heads in there, which is good. So 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Do you see how short it was before? Now we can get into the lecture. So let me just fix that crotchular area. Right here. Okay. Now let's get out the big red pen of doom. Zoom out. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 4, which is fine because that's where the hips are. I think that's right. I don't know. Got a bit confused, but that's generally it. I think this one is too short. But yeah. Okay? So now we have a good measurement. So, Niall. 1, 2, 3, 4. This line that I just did, don't use that for drawing. That's just for symmetry. That's just for horizontal symmetry. When you do paint the shoulders, work at an angle. Do you see how the collarbone now makes sense? Because it's going in that upside down V. So collarbone, shoulder. That's your clue. Okay, and then the neck goes in between, and then you have the chin. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do, so write that down. When you finish the head, some people like painting the head first. It's okay if you don't paint the rest of the body first, if you paint the head first, that's fine. Some people just are comfortable getting the face down. They just want to get the face out of the way. Fine. But make sure that the size of the head has to be equal, 2 heads across, laying down. So this length is equal to these lengths here, from the symmetry line. And 4 going down into the torso. So far, I want you only to do this, Niall. I don't want you to focus on the legs just yet. Not just yet. Okay, Niall, I really want you to perfect the torso. You have a bit of issues with the torso, and I want to focus all your inspiration on the torso area for now. After maybe midway through the 14-day challenge or after the 14-day challenge, you can start focusing on legs and doing specific studies on legs because legs need their own attention. They're really difficult. There's so many muscles going on, and none of us have studied medicine. So I don't know how the heck we're going to approach it without individual studies. That's the best way to take it, to learn how to practice, to learn the body is to practice piece by piece. Okay, Niall? I really recommend that. Don't take too much on your plate. You're just going to end up having a full plate. Yeah, you can give her arms. That's what I asked for.
Yeah, it's okay to get impatient.
It's okay, yeah, exactly. It's okay to get impatient. But make sure that impatience isn't crippling your ability to perform a good study. No, Gabriella, there's no ignorance. 14-day challenge is doing a study of something for 14 days. We started off with face challenges, and then we took it on to body challenges so far. I will be doing a showcase, actually, after Pedro and Niall. Actually, Niall finished his. Pedro is almost finished his. I'm going to be doing a showcase of the amount of improvement I've seen from the 14-day challengers. I've read that for human measurements, it's 2 heads until the navel. Until the navel. 2 heads? Two heads, you mean across this way? There's 8, and then there's the 9. There's different ways to measure it, but generally the one that I do is 8 or 9. Sometimes my characters seem a bit long. I just like that look. But there's many different measurements, really, because people come in all shapes and sizes, Nazir. So there's not one specific measurement for them. But in art, in order to keep us from drawing a head that's too big for the rest of the body, what we do is make up our own measurements, like the thumb. It's the way we use the thumb to figure out the proportions when we're figure drawing in real life. So we take out our thumb and see how long, or take out the pen and see. Really, it just depends on any unit of measurement. You can use a foot of some king we don't even care about, or you can use an inch, or it really just depends on you. But basically what I use is this system. This system keeps all the body looking measured and together. The actual human proportions for the perfect, most beautiful thing, I think there's like a book on that, and it gives you the actual dimension. It's like the golden parameter or whatever. Golden proportion thing. But yes, back to this. So if you follow this, Niall, it'll help keep you grounded. If you want to move away from this measurement system and try something new, go ahead. But I just want to see that you've perfected one already. Okay? So let's look at before and after so far, see what this measurement system did for you. So the heads increased in size. So here you had 3 heads across, which is not a good idea, because the head seemed a bit large at that point. And now things are making a bit more sense this way. Okay? Okay, Niall? I'm on day 90. Okay, so now onward to the arms. What have I said before about the arms? I've said something very important, which is start the arms with lines. The lines should help you. Usually the elbow comes around somewhere near the middle of the stomach area. Some people, of course, have different units for this, but so far I've used belly button area in general, somewhere here. Depending on the length of the arm, you have different sized people everywhere, all over the world. So usually I place the elbow in usually below sometimes. I like longer arms, but place the elbow somewhere near the belly button line, or the horizontal line of the belly button. Okay, I then after these lines, I sort of use like a rectangular system. I start with the forearms, actually, to figure out the faces of the arm. Damn it. And find out which are really showing and which aren't. So this is the under part of her arm. This is all the other side of the rectangle. Okay? This all will be in shadow. It's going to be behind the boob. not on the boob, not fighting for the focal point with the boob. There's no battle. It's just behind the boob. That's it. There's a part of the arm that goes behind the boob. If you guys have a girlfriend, you understand what I mean. If you're a girl, you know what I mean. Okay? It's just behind the boobular area. I'm just going to keep using the that terminology because I don't know. I don't know the... And what you do is you stretch this corner right here, Niall. Get your paper and pencil ready for this detail. When you do the arms and you've drawn the sausage shape already, you've drawn the sausage shape, you're like, what the heck do I do next? Where do I put these muscles? What? 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 Baby, you hearing that? Let her out, let her out. She's probably hot. She probably wants some... Go. Go, chicken butt. I just hope she doesn't go near the rabbit. I don't want her to go near the rabbit. Okay, close the door then. Out of the area where the breasts start, where the armpit starts, right here, let's say the armpit starts here. This is the armpit area. The corner comes out. This corner is the side of the rectangle. So if I do this and this and this and this and this, we have a rectangle. Babe, can you close the door? Okay? Because she's distressed, so I don't want to leave her. Get your rolling pin and make sure they're nice and sausage-like. Okay. Sorry about that. And then the corner comes in through here. Remember, this side is the further side, the side beneath, the side beside the arm. So if you have a rectangle here, and this is where the boobs are, and then you have the arm, and you're building like a robot, this side can lock on to this side. Okay, they're not just squishy membranes going together. Okay, that looks wrong. But it's like a puzzle piece. And that the body is shaped through a series of curved edged rectangles. Okay? Do you know what I mean, Niall? Do you know exactly what I'm saying right now? Is that you need to establish this side here so that when you give it a shade, a value, the shade and value represent the proportions properly. Okay? And then comes the forearm. Forearm is a bit like a pyramid without a top. It's got a side too. And then you have the arm structures. Okay, I'm just going to keep it like that. And I'm going to push back. If you have a commission soon and you're going to need some sort of guiding line towards, you could have slid her, it's okay. Towards how to draw legs. Remember that the legs don't go straight down like this. Okay? Sometimes they do if the person is deliberately spreading their legs when they stand. You can make this, but if the person is standing and trying to stand squared, where their hips are aligned and their legs and ankles are somewhere here, it would mean that, sorry, in order for the hips to work and allow the body to stand this way, there should be a movement of the thigh lines inward. The thigh bones move inward, and the knees come, and then they move like that. So basically what I'm saying is that the thighs, the lines of the thighs, when you draw thighs next time, or you draw a leg for thighs, you don't draw the lines going straight down like this. In order to draw a naturally standing character, you make the thighs bend inward. However, it's not so much a bend inward that the thighs touch and the legs are out like this. No, which is what you did, Niall. What you need to do is remember that they're still standing. It's just how the thighs have been designed. The shins still stand straight. They do have a curvature inward, but they still sound straight. Okay? They still sound, what the heck am I saying? They still stand straight. The legs still, the way the fat forms around it is still in a straight way. It's just that now we know that the I don't know what is it called, femur, whatever it is, goes inward. The bone structure moves inward. It doesn't go straight down. If it does go straight down, the person is spreading their legs apart. Do you see what I'm saying? Remember that key detail. The femur does not go straight down out of the thigh, out of the hip bone. It pushes inward. All right, that's basically. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering my way through. Too much caffeine. Same idea with the other side. Okay, so find yourself a good. Let me just get a good one for you. This is a very basic drawing of a human skeleton, but do you see what I mean? They push inward. So next time you draw the arms, make sure that you're understanding this side here. This shade shouldn't be the same as this shade. Let me shade in one of the arms for you to show you how. Okay, so this shade goes on down this way. Then we have the further shade working there. Okay, and then we have that light moving in. And now look, it's an arm. Did you see how fast that happened? Niall, pay attention to this formula. Straight, basic, under, shade of whatever you're working with, whatever value. No, you don't have to have them censored, no. Then you have that shadow there, then you have the highlighter shadow over there. And that's, but make sure you maintain that edge. This edge right here is very, very important. You can soften it just a bit, but you cannot remove it completely or else the arm will look very sausagey. You don't want a sausage arm. Okay, and then just continue that shading out across. Yeah, Niall, go ahead. Do you see, Niall? Though I just want to know that I want to make sure that you understood what I just did. Oh, see. Oh, see. You're not going to find anything there. And then just going to bring in a little bit of light over here to make the shoulders seem a bit more moving out. And don't outline areas that you don't know how to you haven't had enough experience with. Just shade around them. Don't outline the collarbone. Even if it was just the sketching stage, you should be sketching with strokes. You have a lot of experience with your strokes. You've made some beautiful drawings. So I trust your strokes. Okay? I understand that bit. I need to learn the plane so I can shade it more believable, right? Yes. If you know where the shapes are, if you can... Basically, Niall, if I give you a square right now and I told you the light is coming from the top right corner, would you know how to shade it? Would you know how to shade that rectangle, that square, whatever it is? You'll know how to shade it. You'll know which parts are dark, which parts are darkest. You know where the shadow goes to. You know that the shadow is falling somewhere on the other object beneath it. Sometimes arm shadows fall on the body, on the torso. Basics, that's it, Niall. If you know how to shade a rectangle with light coming in from any angle, you know how to do it on the arm because the arm is a rectangular based shape. Every other shape here is also based on a shape. If you know how to shade that shape, you know how to shade the body because it works from that shape. The human body isn't unique. It doesn't have its own organic formulas for everything. It's based off shapes as well. Okay? So if you know how to do that, you know how to do everything else, trust me. Learn where these shapes go, and then everything else will fall into place. And that's basically what it is. And get yourself familiar with what these shapes are representing. If they're representing a rib cage, know what shape really is representing that rib cage. For me, it's like a squarish triangle. For some other person, it's a circle. But they still do draw something that looks good. And you can tell what shapes the person has used, what shapes the artist has used. I know there's a book, Baby, you used it. What is it called? Loomis? Is it Loomis? It was the one that's the study that... Yeah, Vern Hogarth. He uses so many squares, but he also uses circles. He uses circles for everything. All the butt area and the hips and the shoulder blades and the shoulders are also circular because you can tell he uses a circle there. But for the arms and for the longer areas like the thighs and the shins, they're also squared off. So he does that as well. So you can really find out which shapes work best for you to understand the human anatomy. It's really up to you. Just understand that there's connective tissue between the top arm. What the heck am I doing? So you know areas that would catch bounce light. I like the bubular area. I do light, dark, light. So there is like a clash in the middle. Yes. So there wasn't much of a light, dark, light here though, but it really depends on where the lighting is coming from, but it's your choice. Remember that breast sag. Push down. So that, imagine the nipples as target. Has bullets. Think Madonna. And wherever they point, that's where the boob is moving toward. Okay? I would also rethink the way the breast connects with everything else around it. Try to make it look a little bit more like it's some part of the body instead of an external part. So give it some secondary lighting to really merge with the rest of the shape. And know where to end the breast and where the arm begins. Jeebus. Okay? And then you have that armpit fat that women have. It's so hard to get rid of. Niall. I have some books by Hogarth as PDF. Tell me if you want them. I don't think I did it there because I wasn't sure if it was correct. You mean the light, dark light on the breast area? It really depends on where the lighting is, but choose a specific lighting for the 14-day challenge and follow it. Just trying to form the contours around the breasts and then get that same lightness everywhere else and use it for the inner bone area. Now do you see how convincing the breast area is now, Niall? It seems like it's actually the breasts are moving away from the body. I'm going to watch your vid tonight and look at how the planes are. Okay, and then look from there. Remember that the rib area is here. There's always a set of ribs that are sticking out, saying, "Ooh, look at me." And they're always capturing some sort of light source. It's not really outlining, but it's giving a shade for the outer area of the body, where it flows off into the background. It's sort of like an edge of shadow that allows us to differentiate between the form of the body and the background. So there's no outlining. You're not depending on lines or depending on sharp edges. Okay? And this is a convincing body if there ever was one. Simple little details, and that's all you really have to do. It's not rocket science, and it's not magic, and it's not a perfect tablet. It's not a $5,000 tablet. It's not the best book in the world that only I have from special artists, or it fell from heaven and I found it, or some crazy artist found it. It's practice, it's perspective, and it's simple geometry, simple sciences. And you can definitely do it, Niall. And this is your day 1. I want your day 14 to look like this and better. Okay, I want these exact proportions. I want you to perfect this body type. I want you to perfect it. This is your body. You know how you found the face for the 14-day challenge? You're going to find your specific style body type. You know that guy on idrawgirls.com? He always draws the same old body. That's sort of what I'm talking about. Every artist has their own style. Unless they're using like a reference sheet, that's different. They're using another person's body style. Okay, let us know. What is it? 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 I'm so happy. Niall has such like enthusiasm. I love that. I wish the rest of you guys have that. Knock on wood though for you, Niall, so you don't lose it. But I'm really proud of you for that enthusiasm. Remember, Niall, that there is an outer edge of light, secondary lighting edge on the arm. Just an outer edge, not so much that it blends with the background and thins out the arm, but just enough. And then there's that edge. Remember, don't lose that, what's it called? Corner.